you guys are all here for. TFT patch 9.19 notes. Tacticians, welcome to the 9.19 notes. Sure, sorry, we're repeating exactly this title. Big one this week, headlined by the introduction of Caixa and new Sparring Glove items. We're also making a few adjustments to the new mystery box system. Overall, we like the way it's changed the game and needed a few tuning tweaks. We're also making a few changes to breathe life into two underperforming Tier 5 champions, Anivia and MF. Finally, the final version of the match will make it live sometime later this patch. It's only the bare minimum right now, but we'll be adding features over the next few patches. Take this portal if you're looking for the leaked patch notes. Not the ones I was looking for. Okay, before we get started, I want to say that I think the current meta is pretty much infested with Void Assassins, Shapeshifter Dragons, there's a little bit of Rangers, I guess. But that's... And Yordle Sorcerers is, generally speaking, most of the meta. There's also Void Brawlers, I guess, is not bad on the current patch. So those are like kind of the biggest things in the game. Obviously, one of the things that this patch is going to hit upon is Void Assassins. Personally speaking, I like to see Dragons get nerfed. I already know what they're going to do with it because I've already played on PB. They're nerfing it by a little bit, but that's something that I think is really problematic just in general. Like, I feel like the game has so much magic damage. I think one of the biggest problems of the game right now is the fact that there isn't a physical damage abilities in the game, or there aren't. So you can't balance the game around having correctly. Everything is all done magic damage wise, and that's it. With the exception of, I think, Rengar ulti and maybe one or two other ones. For the most part, every damage ability, even ones that are physical damage in League of Legends, like ZQ, is magical damage in TFT. And that makes it really, really weird because it makes it so every team comp when you get to late game always does magic damage. I think that they're running into problems right now where it's like they want to nerf Claw more, but Claw's effectiveness is that high because of that problem. Not so much that maybe originally I wanted to nerf Claw by quite a bit, and I still kind of do. But maybe the bigger problem is the fact that, generally speaking, I feel like the game itself has no physical damage spells, and that's a big, I guess, problem or somewhat thing they have to worry about going forward into the game. Anyways, let's just keep looking. Let's see what happens on this patch. The new champion, Void Ranger Assassin Caixa. So let's just say, regardless what it says down here, okay, if her ability red does nothing, and this just didn't exist, okay, she is a Void Ranger Assassin. Let's ignore Void, okay? Let's just say she's a Ranger Assassin. Generally speaking, both of these classes have a unit or two that aren't very good late game. Rangers have Vayne, which isn't a great unit late game, and Assassins have a bunch of them. Kha'Zix, like a bunch of Cat if she's not stacked. Rengar if he's not stacked. Like they have a lot of different pieces that can be replaced by a better ranged unit. Like, for instance, Caixa. Especially with Assassins, one of the biggest problems is the fact that since they jump in, they get clumped, they get stuck a lot. Having a ranged Assassin is really, really nice because they're able to not worry so much about positioning. It's why you RFC Kassadin and Void Assassin comps, right? Just having the attribute of range means their uptime in the fight is like way higher than having or being a melee champion. So regardless what the rest of the stats say just having it be an assassin ranger is really a ranged assassin ranger means that at some point in time Caixa will have a role in the game. Once you go late enough, Caixa will be strong enough to replace something in your kit. The other big thing to note is the fact that she has the highest attack speed in the game, which means she's one of the best units to stack items on. So she has 1.25 attack speed. Before this, the highest attack speed in the game was Blanca Fiora and Kale. Kale post nerf they both have 1.0. So she has 0.25 more attack speed than anyone else in the game, which means that any attack speed item on her and any kind of ranger proc on her gets like huge benefits. So she is one of the best. She's gonna be, she's gonna be one of the best stackers in the game when it comes to items at some point during the game. Whether she needs to be 2-star or not, she's gonna be really, really good. And then her ability gives her shielding plus attack speed, which means she's built to be one of the best hyper carries in the game, just by nature of her kit. But anyways, let's keep moving. She's definitely gonna have a spot, regardless of what the rest of her stats say, just because of the other stuff, though. I personally haven't really played that much Caixa. I played like, I think that was my first game of Caixa, if not my second. I've seen a little bit. Generally speaking, it looks like Caixa 1's not that strong. Putting full items on Caixa 1 when her health is at 700 means she kind of just gets exploded. But if you ever do get to Caixa 2, she seems like a very formidable hyper carry. But maybe that's pretty unreliable because 2-star or 5-cost units are very, very rare from my example, or my experience, not example. Sorry. Moving on. They added Sparring Gloves. It's a 10% crit, 10% dodge. And when building an item out of Sparring Gloves, it'll convert into the offensive or defensive option. And minions get both. And Thief Gloves get both. So this is the Yordle. This is the new Yordle item, pretty much. They add an entirely new item, and you can't just add one item in the game, right? Every time you add a component item, you're forced to add an item for everything it can combine to, every other component item it can combine to in the game. So you have to have one with BF, one with Recurve, one with Arch Rod, one with Tier, Chain Vest, Negatron, Giants, all this stuff. Generally speaking, I've spent a little bit of time on PB. I would say probably I played around 10 hours total. But let's talk about this. So they switched IE over to Sparring Glove plus BF. Generally speaking, good item, just averagely good item, good on assassins, good on range, tier 3 range champions especially. Cool. Repeating crossbow. Okay. On death, this jumps to an allied champion and grants him 20% attack speed and crit chance. In theory, this sounds really, really good. In practice, I think this item sucks. I was playing it with an elementalist comp and they kept jumping to my golem, so it felt really bad. Additionally, like a lot of times I don't know what's gonna die first. Like even if I stagger my front line, like I have one unit at the very far end and one unit behind it and the rest of my unit behind it, even if it perfectly goes like 1, 2 and then onto a carry unit and behind it, usually having to position that way just makes it really awkward. I think in a perfect scenario where you can control where the recurve bug goes, it can have insane value if it bounces even more than 2 times. But generally speaking, on average, it bounces off 2 deaths and then the fight's already over before it gets any relevance into the fight. So I have not seen much good use for repeating crossbow. Might be good. Personal experience has been very meh. Jeweled Gauntlet. Your spells can crit. Now this is really interesting. Everyone has 25% base spell crit in the game. Giving crit to mages is actually pretty nutty. A lot of the mages have like spells that can one-shot your team. Stuff like Aesol 2, critting on his 1 ulti. If you're given 1/4 of the chance to one-shot the entire enemy team, that's still pretty good. I've seen Cat with Jeweled Gauntlet a lot just to be able to try to global people inside her ulti. I think that this item has a lot of potential. A lot of good potential. Whether it's worth more than Seraph's or whatever, it's to be told, but especially, or to be seen, but especially on like one-shot wonder type of units, Jeweled Gauntlet is going to get you a lot of value. You could think of it as like kind of a death cap level, but maybe because it's the RNG has such an upside, it might be worth more. Oh, and the item gives 20% crit, so it's actually a 45% chance to crit with Jeweled Gauntlet. Oh, that's actually way better. Holy shit, you have half the time chance to crit. All right, it's really good. It's even better than I originally thought. Whew. Hand of Justice. Sparring Gloves, Tier of Goddess. On round, you gain either 40% more spell damage or 40% more damage or 40% life on hit. This should be changed because it's not 40% more damage. It doesn't work on casted spells. It is only auto attack damage. And so that's a little bit different. I think this is actually pretty good. 40 life on hit should compare to Bloodthirster on a lot of different situations, and maybe gains more value than that given like higher amounts of attack speed, especially on lower AD threats. Maybe like a lot of Rangers, Hand of Justice might actually be better. And then 40% flat like auto attack damage is worth quite a decent amount. So it feels like the problem is like maybe the people who have a lot of attack speed will want one, and the people who have a lot of actual raw damage might want the other. But generally speaking, this seems like a fairly good situational item that you could see maybe being built a lot on Rangers. Iceborne Gauntlet. So Spartan Glove plus Chain Vest on dodge creates an expandable zone that lowers attack speed by 35%. The more I use this, the more I've seen this, the more I think this is broken. So it automatically gives you 20% dodge, right? It's a defensive item. 20% dodge. Even with baseline 20% dodge, so it not being on a Yordle champion, you hitting the proc once, slowing the attack speed by what, double Frozen Heart or something just a little bit over Frozen Heart, is actually crazy. And the zone is quite large as well. I think this is something that will be used a lot to counter like essentially backline attack speed reliant stacking carries. So stuff like Rangers, maybe stuff like Draven, Iceborne will be really, really good against. So I could definitely see this being built a lot. In fact, I have... Oh, and it works on Shen ulti, which is super good. I think this has a really high potential to be like probably imbalanced, and they probably need to tune down the numbers quickly. The effect is very, very powerful. Attack speed slows right now, I think, are being more and more rated higher as time goes on. Right now, Pike's core build has like as many Frozen Hearts as you can stack, and I think that Iceborne Gauntlet is no joke. Like, be very, 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 very scared of this item. I think it has a chance of being explosively good. Anyways, QSS recipe Sparring Gloves Negatron when CC cleanse the 5-second CC. You know, I remember a long time ago when like Glacial was meta and Demon was meta, and there's a lot of CC in the game. Everyone's like, man, they should have a CC item in the game that breaks CC, because it's like the game needs it. Yada. I almost never see anyone use this, and I probably will never see anyone use this. I think this is, generally speaking, like somewhat of a bait. If you're against like a large amount of CC, generally speaking, you try to position around it, or you're just building another item and trying to just praying that its effectiveness is more than the CC break itself. Like, you're probably gonna get more value out of double Negatron into Dragon's Claw, or you're gonna get more value off of just getting, like, I would say Thirster or something else rather than CC break a lot of the time. And so I don't think it's gonna be that good. And I think that, like, for the most part, this is gonna be largely a bait item, but maybe it might surprise me. Trap Claw. Spartan Gloves, Giant Spell, on combat gains spell shield when it breaks, stun the champion who broke the shield. Now this item is like QSS, but what I want. So it gives you a spell shield, which means it breaks on the first CC, which is great. It stuns for 5 seconds on a broken shield. 5 seconds is a long time. Like, imagine you're giving a free Leona ulti on whoever breaks your shield. That's great. Additionally, because it's a spell shield, any kind of channel effects won't be interrupted, or any kind of DPS uptime won't be like a hit. So if you're playing Katarina, you want Trap Claw, you can't get CC'd out of her really, really, really important ulti. But I think, like, between the two of these, Trap Claw is definitely my item. This item, Trap Claw, awesome. Gives you CC as well as Spell Shield. I think this is really, really nice. Thief's Glove. This item is broken. This item is going to need to get nerfed. Thief's Glove is probably what everyone's going to be shooting for when it comes to Sparring Gloves. Double Sparring Glove. It takes 3 item slots. It gives you 2 random items. The value of this item at the very beginning of the game is it gives you 2 items. It essentially gives you like 2 component piece, or 1 component piece and 1 completed item. That's random. So what you want to do is generally you throw this on your secondary carry, or your maybe your primary tank, your secondary tank, a unit that can use a wide variety of items, ideally, and it gives you incredible, in my opinion, incredibly high amounts of value throughout the game. This is just like a value generating machine. And sure, it's like RNG, there's like sets of items that you get, but it just feels like the amount of value you get from Thief's Glove is just incredible, like absolutely incredible. This is something where after trying and seeing a lot of the items on here, the most impressive one that I've seen has been, I think it's been Thief's Glove, for sure, of all the items that I've seen, and the items I've yet to go over. So this is something that I feel like is going to get nerfed in the future, but I think the idea of it is pretty cool. The idea of giving random items, having to work around it, I like the concept. The strength of the item might be too much, though. Mittens is okay. Mittens is cool. You making a Yordle, cool. You know what happened last patch? Wild now goes through a Yordle effect. Like, you can't miss against Yordle. So now there's a built-in inherent synergy that counters another synergy that's built into the game. You can have crazy cool Yordle effects and you can delete Trist from your Yordle comp, which is the worst, for the most part, the worst Yordle. And then you're able to make really cool Yordle comps, and you have really cool options to beat Yordle comps if people are going Yordles that require less units than going 6 Yordles normally. So I love the fact that this is a thing in the game, and I like that the game already has a pre-built synergy counter as opposed to just an item counter. And so I think it's really cool. I think you're able to create a lot cooler comps, and you can. It's also really obvious what the counter is to the game. Deathblade, BF Sword plus BF Sword on hit, kill or assist gain an additional 15 attack damage to the end of the game. Stacks indefinitely. Okay. I don't know. I don't know how good this is. I've seen it be good. I've seen it be used on Draven before. I've seen it be used on assassins. I think it's good. I don't know how good it is. Because the value of the AD stacks up over time. If you're getting let's say you're an assassin, you jump in, you kill 2 units, 3 units. Does the extra AD actually help you kill the last ones? Is that something relevant? Is this something that's instead used on range carries like Jinx or on Draven? Is that more relevant? It is something where I feel that it is, in theory, very, very in theory good. In practicality, maybe harder to use than expected. It may be that if you're looking at IE, IE just, it's better to punch stronger consistently than build up over time. Generally speaking, I feel like build up items are not at, this, and repeating crossbow just aren't that good. Maybe I could see where people see this this line and think okay, we build it on Jinx, and so every time she attacks faster, I also get more AD, has good synergy there. But when you're thinking about that, wouldn't I just want to kill the unit faster to get the Jinx autos off more, as well as get her passives going stronger? Wouldn't IE be better at that? So I don't know. And I actually haven't tested this item out yet, but my immediate thoughts are stacking items are more good in theory than they are in practice. The exception is probably Rageblade, because Rangers can't actually DPS without it for the most part. But I think that's more reliant on attack speed as opposed to it's reliant on more consistent factors than units dying on off kill or assist, or things like your allied champions dying. That's at least I feel like something that you could play around much more. Anyways, let's talk about probably the second or the other most impressive item, Giant Slayer. BF plus recurve attacks you additional 5% enemy and max health as true damage. I think this just reads Ranger item. It's essentially Blade of the Ruined King, right? From League of Legends in the game. It scales really well with attack speed, so you put it on the highest attack speed scaling units in the game. Rangers also probably good with gunslingers, right? So gunslingers and rangers can use this to do tremendous amounts of damage. I can already see a world where you stacking 4 rangers in a vein, and the vein just crushes your front line. It just melts inside your Sedge ulti. They don't get to play the game. So this, I've tested this once so far, and I've seen it on a couple streams. I've seen it in a couple of my games. It seems like a very, very good item. Very powerful item. Anyways, let's move on. Player damage adjustments. Wait, they lowered damage again? I don't know, man. A lot of people are going to say good, but I think the pace of the game right now is good. I think being under pressure from taking a lot of damage through health um, is a good thing for the game, because it means that you need to stabilize comps and not use perfect compositions. The best thing about playing on the last patch 9.18 is the fact that like I a lot of times had to push for like some bad comps to make do with stuff that I didn't want to do. Like I wanted to go Void Sorcerer Brawlers, but I didn't get the Brawlers, so I had to supplement with Knights and some like Elementalists or something. And I thought that like the patch before, I could pretty much brute force any major meta comp in the game. And the last patch, because there's more damage done, I was forced to make sacrifices and have better decisions and play the game, in my opinion, the right way, which is you play what you get. With damage gets done like lowered, it's not like right now in the current state of the game, people aren't econing. Like everyone's econing it at stage 2, right? People are getting insane amounts of money, and just econing like their life depends on it, right? I think that it'd be a different story if everyone was always all in, but that's not even the case. And so I think that while casually this may feel good on a game-by-game basis to not get chunked out so quickly, I think game health-wise it might not be a good thing. Like, I'm not... Yeah. At least that's what I think. The one caveat I'll say is, because my eyes have already glanced at this, they've lowered the gold value of items a little bit. So the common boxes gold average decrease, uncommon boxes gold average decrease, slightly lowered the odds of gold boxes, tier 4 units can, oh thank god, this is actually so stupid that you can get brand early or Kali early, slightly increase the chances of Nico's help. Sure, this is kind of irrelevant compared to the rest, as long, but like this thing means that like econing will be less valuable, like you can't econ as aggressively with 20 gold openers probably, which is probably also good to have if you're doing player damage adjustments like this to make it not so econ heavy, which is fine. Like I have no problem with that. Yeah, it just feels like from this point on, like I don't know. This is a really, really high amount of damage reduction. I don't necessarily know if this is right. I'm probably gonna see. I guess someone should ask me again, or I'll make comments about this again after a week or two of play. But I don't. My first thoughts are I don't know if I like this as much as I would think. Anyways, okay, let's keep going. Dragon traits. Due to how easy it is to get Imara and lack of options on to play around, they were lowering the strength of Dragon's Claw. Great. Reduction 83 to 75. Fuck. When people ask me like how much I think that they should be reduced, I would say at the very least like 65, 70, 60 would be great. 83 to 75 feels eh. They take 50% more magic damage, yeah, but like I still feel like that's too little. At least in my opinion. I've played on the PB. I literally played against dragons on the PB. I understand that the nerf is probably bigger than it seems, but it still feels like it's not enough. That's at least my general thoughts on it. Maybe 70% is probably a better number for me, but I just think that still negates too many comps in my opinion. Glacial procs are too powerful, making a similar consistency change that we did Swordbreaker and applying it to Glacial. Okay, the CC goes down and the increased chance goes up. Okay, pretty much a ranger nerf. Chance goes up, but no one goes to the 4, so just pretty much overall ranger nerf, but they got a lot of other things to compensate for that. Void, with the addition, Caixa, when they open up the power of Void lower the power of Void early, we'll build up more build options. Okay, so this pretty much kills Void Assassins. One random unit deals true damage as combat. All your Void champions deal true damage as combat. Kills pretty much any option of you going Void Assassins, which is good. It's a pretty degenerate strategy online that's pretty unfun to play against. And I think that what they're doing with Void is much better, much healthier for the game. Whether it's it's definitely gonna be more balanced. I don't know if it's effective. Like when you play Void, if it's ever reliable to go 4 Void in a comp, like I've tried to think about how to get 4 Void in some like really strange composition that you could possibly get Void going with other stuff for Void going, but for the most part, it feels like it's just gonna be like maybe you just splash 2 Void or your 4 Void is only for your mid game. Yordles, you remove RFC's ability to Norg dodges, so now it only exists in Wild. True. Because of that, we're pulling a little bit power back out of Yordle. Introduction of Mittens also, we're adding a 9th piece. I think this is smart. They're nerfing, this really is just like a 3 Yordle nerf. And they're nerfing Yordle so you can't get RFC anymore, and you can only really get it with Wild. I'm down for that. Not a big deal. I'm all about that. I think that's pretty good. General Assassin trait adjustments. What did they do? Okay. Holy shit, that's a lot of numbers and text being thrown at me. It goes from the same 3-piece assassin is the same. 6-piece assassin is 5% less crit. And 9-piece assassin is 10% less crit. That's a straight assassin nerf. Okay. Ninja, it has a 10 AD and AP buff at 4. Okay. That's probably less relevant than the actual buffs onto the ninjas, I'll be honest. Nobles heal 5 more on hit. Okay, Nobles are actually pretty bad right now, and so I'm not opposed to getting them a little bit more. Shapeshifter nerf on 6. I don't think six Shapeshifters was a consistent enough comp for me to even care too much about them getting 120% bonus health, but I do think, sure, it's fine. The nerf itself seems fair. And Rangers now get less bonus for 2, but similar bonus for 4. It makes 2 Ranger Elementalist comps weaker, 2 Ranger Knight comps weaker. Okay, by a small amount. Most of this seems relatively irrelevant. Nivea has been underperforming for a 5-cost sword. Change your identity to be a strong unit that slows the attack speed of the backline. Great! So when I play Nivea, this unit, the ability that she casts is just random. And I get pissed off because I can't control it. And just randomly ulties a lone golem in the middle of nowhere and I die. So cool, what does she get? Less health, 0.2 more attack speed, that's great. She gets more starting mana to get off her first ulti, which is super good because the first ulti attack speed slow matters probably the most in the comp. And the ability targeting goes for furthest target. Thank God. I can actually position this unit correctly to deal with Ranger stacking as well as Dravens. I think, and Kales. Like, this is what I feel like the unit's identity should be, is that it's supposed to crush backline Ranger stackers or corner stackers. But it doesn't right now because you randomly ulti some stupid like lone Mordekaiser in the middle of nowhere. It's really, really annoying to play with her on live, and I'm very, very happy. Like, I don't even care about the rest of this. This alone is a godsend. It's really, really nice. It means you can play around it more, and you can position around it more as well. I like that a lot. Caston, we've proven problematic as a DPS champion. We can also gain shield, also drain mana. Yes. We're shifting his identity as a frontline sorcerer, putting out some of the damage. Okay, that's fine. 10 less AD, less attack speed, a little bit more armor and more mana steal. He will never be an assassin champion again. Don't you guys worry. This is the second time he's been nerfed. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back, but I would 40 AD and less attack speed now, but who knows? Yeah, this is just a nerf because Assassin Void Assassin Caston right now on live is one of the most obnoxious units in the game. MF, the other 5-star game left. Buff, we're adjusting to be a powerful auto attacker for gunslingers who rarely cast. When he does cast, it's a big one. Cool. Attack speed went up great. Man, wow, the mana went up to 150? Oh, her damage, by contrast, went up by 400, 700, and 1,000. Oh my god. I'm pretty sure these numbers aren't even possible for other units. Okay, so the biggest thing similar to Anivia is that Misfortune and Anivia now have Aurelian Soul and Brand targeting, which is they do, instead of targeting the thing they attack, No, this is random. Sorry. So random, and then and current like auto attack target. They target the furthest target, which means positioning should be a lot better. You can control where she ultis. Just an ulti some random unit. It's all good. Like I really really like that. It's great. This is the most important thing. Them adjusting this is kind of interesting. The biggest thing when I go gunslingers is a lot of times I don't like running MF because MF is a very weird gunslinger in the sense that she wants tier items to ulti faster, but so a lot of the on-hit stuff feels wasted on MF because she is spending. You want her to just ulti quickly as opposed to auto attack. Maybe this might make it so now you put more items on her, maybe even on-hit items, and you're happy when she ultis. You're just really happy with it that it goes off. This is also a great unit to put in sorcerer comps now, and at level 1, like if she ever does go off with her health pool, 1300 damage is definitely nothing to joke about. She's got also 0.95 attack speed now, second highest under Kale and Fiora, so that's actually really good. She scales really well with items now, it seems. I think her having 0 base mana kind of sucks. I don't know how she's ever going to consistently get her ulti off ever. Because when you compare the difference, like Anivia gets 50, it's 125, but she gets 0 and 150. It's because of the actual raw damage her ability is so high, but you might have a really hard time getting her to ulti in a lot of the comps that you play. Anyways, yeah, let's keep going. I really like, this is the most important thing though. This is really, really good. Mordekaiser. Okay, I saw this on PvE. He now has 50 more, or 150 more mana, 50 more base, but his spell damage hits hard, and it's the AoE seems bigger as well. And so Mordekaiser, you should think of Mordekaiser as tier 1 Aatrox. So Aatrox obviously able to ulti a lot more, but Mordekaiser actually hurts like hell now. He hits 175 more damage at level 2. It used to be a joke unit. You only put in for Phantom or 4 Knights. Now like he's a big boy. Like he does some damage. This makes comps like 4 Knights as well as like Rangers better. 4 Knights especially, because 4 Knights don't really have a strong DPS source. But yeah, Mordekaiser is definitely like a legit unit now. Be very, very scared. If you line up to get hit with more ulti, you're gonna get stomped early if it's more too. Triss damage also went up by a little bit. It's okay. A nice little buff tier. Tier 2, Blitzcrank got increased health, increased damage on his ulti. I don't know why they would buff Blitz. I think Blitz is an incredible unit right now. I understand buffing level 1 Blitz ulti. I think the level 1 at 100 base is really, really bad. But it gives you the benefit of displacement. And so like the value of displacement is like the value, it is like the damage that you're not getting from it. But now they decided to just, I feel like, overload the champion, where he just does stupid amounts of damage. So Void Brawler Sorcerers was a comp that used 4 Brawlers in Blitz with TF to get multiple Blitz ultis to fight. It's only stronger now, and it was actually a pretty good composition. And I think Blitz 2 in general is a very, very powerful unit. Like it has the potential to almost one-shot backline by himself. So yeah, I think Blitz buffs, I don't even know if you needed these, honestly, except for the tier 1 buff. The tier 2 buff is much, I feel like, crazy. This unit's already really good. Braum mana going up. I see a lot of complaints about Braum, a lot of times. And I don't necessarily know if Braum is actually a good unit. Every time I see Braum, I just think he's a filler unit. But a lot of people are, like, whenever people talk about Braum as some super ultra stacked defensive unit, for the most part, I see that maybe 1 in 100 games. And I think it's kind of cool that you could do that. I don't necessarily think that he needed that many nerfs. The only thing that was annoying about Braum was when you're playing projectile-based mages like Ari or Brand, him soaking 100% of your ulti kind of sucked. That's kind of a little bit annoying, but I don't necessarily know if Braum needed nerfs. I think he had fringe comps that he was good against, or good in, with if let's say you got Thornmail and a lot of defensive items, and I think that like having a unit that's good with defensive items is good for the game. But the nerf itself kind of sucks, like quite a bit. But maybe deserved, hard to say. Personal opinion, I don't know if it needed to be this big of a mana nerf. Rek'Sai AS going down. Tier 3, so Ash mana goes up. Cat damage per tick increases. Okay. Cat's already seen quite a lot of play on live. She's most common in, I think, Imperial knight comps. So 4 knights, 4 Imperials. It's very common to see Cat being played in those comps. She's a great user of tier ever since the last patch, which lowered her max mana from 100 to 85 to pop off the ulti. So you need, 40 mana is now almost good enough to guarantee a Cat ulti every fight. So buffing it more and more feels a little bit scary. I think that she's already a good unit right now, or at least a usable unit. Shyvana burn going down. Okay, I think Shyvana is pretty overtuned. So I don't mind that at all. Vhagar spell damage going up is not bad. I don't think Vhagar is that bad, so I don't necessarily know if he needed it, but sure. They know better than me on that stat, but 650 seems quite high, even for a single target ability. Vi health going up by 50, Vi spell damage going up. I thought Vi was a pretty good unit as well. They're buffing a lot of brawlers. You see, they buffed the Blitzcrank here. They buffed the Vi health, the Vi spell damage. They buffed Volibear. I do, however, think Volibear needs buffs. He is seen in 0 comps. He's the most useless brawler. They double nerfed this unit because he used to be the best unit in the game. You just stack him and he'd be your carry plus tank. And that was really obnoxious, so they ended up nerfing him to the ground. Now they're giving him some of his old strength back. I think that's well deserved. But you may see more brawlers because you're in your games, because there's a decent amount of brawler buffs here and there. Tier 4 Akali buff. Thank God. Akali should be your best assassin. But even on live, a lot of times I feel like with the prominence of Dragon being in the game, Zed being so powerful, I just prefer Zed 2 a lot to Akali, because it's so much harder to get Akali to. So I don't think that should be the case. So I think that any Akali buffs are good for me. Gnar going down in terms of, you remember when they buffed Gnar, I said they overbuffed him, and then they're nerfing Gnar like the patch after. Yeah, Gnar's pretty broken, and Gnar's gonna stay broken with Sedge because they're like the best 4-cost CC tank initiation units in the game. Jinx attack speed going up by 0.5, somewhat irrelevant. It's okay. The biggest problem with Jinx is there's dragons in the game, and so it's irrelevant. If she's playing against dragons, it's irrelevant how much attack speed she has. If her ulti rockets do magic damage, which hit for 10, or sorry, 25 now on the unit. It's not very strong. Kindred attack speed goes up a little bit. Kindred ability duration goes down. Okay. Means there's more of a window to kill Rain. I actually kind of like this. I think it was a little bit too powerful in the very beginning. Sedge health going down. Sedge stun duration going down. I actually agree with this a lot. I think it going from 2 to 4 seconds was kind of wild. Sedge ulti, in my opinion, already has a way too wide radius. And so I really like the fact that at least they're nerfing something about Sedge and something about Gnar. I definitely think both these units deserve the nerfs. Tier 5 Swain damage per tick goes down by a decent amount, actually. 20%? Wow. A lot of power in Swain, I feel like, comes from the Morello's combination, as well as Swain ticks, but maybe the base damage was too high. The healing goes down as well, and Yasuo health goes down, which I think is fair. Yasuo is the best tier 5 unit in the game. So I don't have any problems with these nerfs. Items, Dragon Claw, Frozen Heart goes... Frozen Heart went up to Gauntlet Strength? Wait, Yasuo health went up? He gets 100 free extra effective health? That makes no sense. I think Yasuo is like the best tier 5 unit in the game. One of the best tier 5s. Especially health on Yasuo translates like double dips because his shield gets health depending on his actual health. Sure. That's weird. Frozen Heart it's 35%, sorry, going up to, or 30% going up to 35. I already think Frozen Heart's really good. It going up seems strange because it's already a really effective item, especially on assassins right now. I going down, okay. Titanic Hydra going to 3%. Wow, they nerfed it by half. It used to be 6% max health on PvE, and it was too powerful. Everyone was buying it. So now it's nerfed to 3%. It's Titanic Hydra on live is something that you put on tier 3, like really healthy units, range units. So tier 3 Jace, tier 3 Tristana, and you would be able to do a lot of DPS with it. You still kind of can in this situation, but I definitely think it's got nerfed by quite a bit. But yeah, it used to be like triple stacked on Jace and just kill everyone. Zephyr is now a unique item. You can't stack multiple Zephyrs in the same unit. That's fine. It's not a big deal. You probably want to move around the Zephyrs anyways. And RFC no longer grants attacks cannot be dodged. Okay. The Hydra now does damage to the initial target as well. I don't know if this is that much better than it was before, because sometimes I feel like the splash, 10% max splash, is actually pretty nice. But maybe it's still pretty valuable. I had to test what it does at 3%, because at 6% it was crushing people. But at 3%, like at 50% effectiveness, I don't know if it'll necessarily be as like first build item as it was before. Bug fixes the calling gameplay have proper. Okay. Ranger focus now properly grant 100% extra attack speed. Okay. Can no longer stack on itself. It did? Wait, does that mean it's broken? Isn't this a big nerf? Like a relatively decent nerf? Wow, I actually didn't realize Ranger. This is what was creating a lot of Ranger power. If you're thinking about the patch has a lot of things that both buff and nerf Rangers. Stuff like Mordekaiser, health, like increasing more Euros in the game is pretty bad for Rangers. But then you have stuff like Giant Slayer, which is really, really strong for Rangers. You have like Mordekaiser buff. You have then you have like the Glacial nerf, which is worse for Rangers. Ash nerf, which is worse for Rangers. This was just a nerf to Rangers. I'm not exactly sure what to think about Rangers going onto this patch, but this is definitely a pretty big nerf. And this is a really huge thing. I was told that at 9.19 Riot fixed matchmaking, ideally. So I'm not going to quote and say that that's definitely going to happen, but hopefully we'll see less situations where we hit the same player twice in a row. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That wasn't that bad, right? How long did I spend on that?